everyone. Welcome to a new episode. Today we're talking about Portugal, their tax laws, the IRS letters, and how this can all affect a lot of different things. So for those of you who are new to this channel, hi and welcome. I thank you for checking it out. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to leave a like and also hit subscribe if you haven't already. And especially if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can be known when more videos like this come out. For those of you who are returning subscribers, longtime friends, hello. Thank you again for joining me today in a new video. So, you may have heard that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a disruptive technology. Well, that is true. It is disrupting banks. It is disrupting fiat government issued money. It is disrupting a lot of things, especially the way that blockchain technology can be implemented to remove third-party middlemen. And, you know, those are everywhere. A lot of industries and people and governments can find this kind of technology to be threatening, or they can find it to be an opportunity. So, obviously, for those who are threatened by this kind of technology, I'm assuming it's because they are the ones on the receiving end of the disruption, who are controlling and happily capitalizing on their position of that centralized control, and anything threatening to disrupt that, to remove themselves from that position. I don't think they'd be too happy about that. So we're seeing that. We're seeing that in the form of the IRS issuing what is being called phishing attempts or letters to Coinbase users. Now, I'm assuming it is to Coinbase users because back in 2016, the IRS filed a John Doe summons for a court which would grant them information on pretty much any user of the Coinbase website, the trading website. Fortunately for those users, there were two people who fought that claim and actually was able to reduce the scope of that summons down to users of Coinbase between the years 2013 and 2015. In addition to that limitation, further limiting it to those who had only conducted trades of like $20,000 per trade. So, for those of you who are receiving these letters, definitely contact a tax professional. Don't blow it off. I am not a tax professional, and the IRS is definitely not something to mess with. So that is my advice for you if you have received a letter. Now on the other side of the cryptocurrency coin is this news that Portugal has yet again clarified that they are considering Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trades to be a tax-free event. You don't need to include them on your income taxes. Now, there was some confusion on perhaps if you conduct cryptocurrency trades as a part of your business rather than it just being a personal individual investment. So again, I'm not a Portuguese tax professional, so if you are curious about that situation, definitely reach out to someone who can give you some good advice there. So it's just something to be aware of because it's really interesting how this, I believe, definitely will play a part in the long term of, it's like how Andrew Henderson says it all the time in Nomad Capitalist, and that is, go where you're treated best. Now, the thing about cryptocurrencies is, if, people are making money off of cryptocurrencies, even though I know it is about much more than just making money. That is a side effect to holding cryptocurrencies, is that you see money and you see profit. And if it comes down to the fact where your current country, let's say you live in the United States, and they are trying their very best to get as much information on you as possible, to squeeze all of your money out of you as possible. And on the other hand, you see countries like Portugal, where seeing it is tax-free, you're a lot more free there. And Portugal isn't the only country. If you just do a simple DuckDuckGo search of, for example, cryptocurrency-friendly countries, there is no shortage of those articles. I'm sure I even did a video about that back in the day. But there are certainly countries who see cryptocurrency as an opportunity, and they're trying their best to establish themselves as a friendly situation for people to come to. And here's the thing. People who have the means to uproot themselves from their current country to another one just because it is cryptocurrency friendly, that country is going to benefit from having successful investors, most likely entrepreneurship, and most likely will be creating new businesses to employ new people. It's just going to be like a breath of fresh air for these countries that are cryptocurrency friendly if it keeps going in the way that it's going. And they're going to benefit in a huge way. And for those countries that are trying their very best to continue to control this situation or control what they can still control, I keep thinking of the NRA and, their phrase of "from my cold dead hands," like they're going to have their control till the very end, despite it being for their detriment or the means of their end. So speaking about countries who are seeing cryptocurrency as an opportunity, there's a really interesting book called The Mystery of Capital by Hernando de Soto. And it talks about capital, why it works in westernized countries like the US, like Great Britain, and why it doesn't seem to be happening in developing countries or underdeveloped countries. It's a really interesting book. I definitely recommend that you read it so you can get a better understanding of why there is sort of like this have and have-nots situation globally. And also, I think it will totally open your eyes to how cryptocurrencies can disrupt that in a very major way. So that's just one example of how this wealth transfer can happen and definitely can close in the wealth gap between different countries. And this is definitely an interesting thing to keep an eye on. So Bitcoin's been going around for 10 years now, and it is starting to get a whole lot more global recognition. It has introduced competition in so many different facets to the world. It has introduced, cryptocurrency competition within the cryptocurrency space. It has introduced or spiked some more competition within the fiat governmentally issued currency space. But, maybe one day Bitcoin itself can get on that scale, but it is inspiring some other countries to look into adopting cryptocurrencies for, escaping maybe some hyperinflation, for maybe skirting around some sanctions that are put on them. And it's leveling a whole lot of different playing fields at this point. So for those of you who are familiar with the thing called fractals, nerd alert, but this is definitely an example of how a fractal can play out in human nature. Fractals are found all over in nature. It is where a small part of the whole organism also represents the entire organism. You see it in things like trees or like riverbeds and like seashells. And it's really interesting. It's like a pattern that is found in nature. And it can also be created through the joy of mathematics, where a computer can run a simple equation over and over and over again. And it creates this really beautiful image. Here's an example so you guys can enjoy that and hopefully don't get too psychedelic out. But so talk about fractals is that how cryptocurrencies can influence someone on an individual level to the point where they make a big move. And if enough people do this, it can affect governments, it can affect countries on a huge scale. And in another dimension, it can be passed down from generation to generation, where that decision to uproot has changed how, that person's family or their children and future generations, decide to do life and the decisions and the things that they value. And I want to encourage you guys to keep an eye out for how you are being treated. Don't be afraid to look for opportunities to make your life a little bit better. So that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoy this, please leave a like. I certainly appreciate that. Leave a comment down below. Say hello. That's it for today's video. I'll see you guys soon.